Hi friends, this is You're welcome to this tutorial. In this video, let's talk about levels in Revit. Levels in Revit usually indicate stories or represents levels used for referencing heights of certain elements. Graphically, they are represented with a line and a symbol on one or both ends. But before we get into the tutorial, I'd like to ask you to go ahead and like this video, subscribe to this channel for more Revit tips, share it so that more people can see it and benefit from it. Now, without further discussion, let's get into the tutorial. Usually, to get started with levels in Revit, you will have to do some of this setup and try to change some of their names to suit you. Now here, looking at this, we have here foundation and the dimension there is a -600, meaning that from the default level 1, I set a level down below it, which is about 600 millimeters. So here it bears -600, or whatever you do with your levels here is going to appear on your project browser. Whenever you set up a level, you're going to have 3 different elements. You're going to have the floor plans, the levels are going to be setting up, and at the same time, you're also going to have ceiling plans. And then also, you're also going to be having structural plans. Like if I expand this the more, you're going to see foundation, level 3 and level 4. Which is this and this. The level 1 and level 2 that normally comes up each time you open your levels is not going to be showing here on the structural plan. All right. Now, to explain that further, I just have to go open a new project. Now here, I go here to open a new project. All right. Can see if you expand this Imperial, and then you also have your matrix templates. Now I usually work with matrix templates. Now for matrix template, you're also going to see matrix construction template, matrix architectural template, matrix structural template. So we have 3 different templates, but we are going to be focusing on the architectural template. Now for matrix construction template, I'm going to begin with that to open new construction templates. As I click on this, it's going to open up with default setting of millimeters or meters, because my traditional unit of design is millimeters. So for metrics, it's going to open up in that setup. Now I say okay. Now this is what we have, and as you can see, it has level 1 by default, it has level 2, it has site. And then we have TO, this FND stands for foundation wall. We have TO footing, we have TO slab. It also opened up your ceiling plans. We have level 1, we have level 2, just like we have it there. Then I am just going to go south elevation. Now you can see what it looks like. You notice some of these ones are in blue, but this is in black and white. It simply means this is non-clickable, all right? But for any of these, you can click it, they are clickable, you can click it and it takes you direct to that level where you can make some modification. All right. Now, if you go back to that, this is how it appears. Actually, the construction template is also designed specifically to suit all construction details. I'm going to close this and I also close this. And now let's go back to structural template and I'll also show you the difference. And then we can now open our architectural template. You can now see what that looks like also. I go back to new and then I expand this. This is for structural, matrix structural template. If I open it up, if I select this and I say okay, now you can see if you go back to your project browser, you're going to see level 1. You're going to see level 2 also, and level 2 analytical. Then outside that, you're going to see 3D view. These 2 levels are what you're going to see at the difference of 3000 millimeters height. But left for you, you can be setting up more levels depending on what you are going to be doing. But now in this template, the view properties have been modified to specifically work with structural components. So I'm going to close this and I'm also going to close the floor plan of it. Then I also going to open up a new one. And then I expand this. Here we have metric architectural template. I click on it and I open it. Now for metric architectural template, you're going to have floor plan level 1 and level 2. We have site. We have ceiling plan also is created. We have level 1 and level 2. And then if I continue to open up the south elevation, this is what we are going to have. This is exactly what I had here before I started this project. I have level 1 and I have level 2, just like you have it here. Now to adjust this level, all you have to do is just to click on anyone you want to move. I want this to come down, so I click on it and click on the dimension and I type 3000 millimeters and I click on any empty space. If I choose to make it 3300, now we have it here as level 1, level 2 ceiling plan, level 1, level 2 floor plan. Now let me create more levels for this project, alright? But let's also keep in mind that under my project browser here, we have floor plans and ceiling plans which are created by default, and there is no structural plans here created. But we are also going to notice something when I select my level. So we are under architectural tab, then you go to datum panel, that's where you have the level, then you select level. If you bring it down to this point, you make sure it snaps, aligns with others, alright? And then taking note of the distance you want to go, you can type it in. Let's say I want to go 3000 millimeters, you can just type it in and say enter, then you go that way. So when you get to the other end, it also snaps to the other point, alright? The second click establishes the point there, and then you can hit escape. Now I have another level there called level 3. You can also decide to go draw another level there. Let's say this time around, just make sure it snaps to that point, and then let's say another 3000, and then you go and snap to that point. You click, hit escape a couple of times. If we come to your project browser, you're going to notice we now have level 1, we have level 2, we have level 3, we have level 4. Under ceiling plans, we also have level 1, 2, 3, 4. But then if you look up here, you see structural plans, which is another level also. Remember I told you before it wasn't there. It's when you start creating more levels, this also gets included. Now if I expand this down, you're going to notice the level 3 and level 4. Let me also show you something. Say I pick another level here. Alright, then under this tab here, if you look at this place, you see make plan view. Alright, so if I uncheck this box here is going to be frozen out, meaning that I don't have intention to make any plan view for this very level I'm going to be creating. Therefore the level is just going to be there for reference purposes. Let's say I make this drawing like this. To that point, it's going to appear black and white while others are in blue colors. Alright, the reason is this black and white is unclickable. If you click it, it's not going to take you to the plan view where you can make any drawing. But if you click on any of these, it takes you to that particular plan view where you can make the drawing. Alright, let's go back to where we were. You really want to have the option to decide what plan view you want to make, either floor plan or ceiling plan or the structural plan. You want to have control over it. If you select your level and the contextual tab opens up, you have the right to click on this. You notice that 3 items are selected already. It's going to be creating ceiling plan, is going to be creating floor plan, is going to be creating structural plan. So any of these plan views that you don't want to create, you can uncheck it, and then in that case, if you say OK and then come to this point and create the level and hit escape a couple of times, if you come to project browser and check, you notice you're not going to have it under structural plan, you don't have it there. And then under plan view, you will have all of them, including the level 6 because it was checked. Under ceiling, you're going to have all of them except level 5. We didn't create any plan for the level 5. Now if at any point in time you change your mind and want to make a plan view for this level 5, all you have to do is to come to your view, and then under view you say plan views, you say floor plans. You can see the level 5 selected there, and you say okay. So we now have a floor plan for the same level 5. And then if we go back to our south elevation, you can see it has turned into blue color. Is now clickable. So if you come to your project browser and look around, you can now see it. Level 5 is now there. Again, if you come to your project browser and delete any of these levels, is going to turn black here, and it becomes non-clickable as well. For example, I delete this level 6. all right. Of course, if you have to delete it, you have to delete it in all the levels where it is found. Here, I delete it here as well. It's going to turn non-clickable as well right here. But at any point in time, you need it to come back, and you want a plan view for that, you can return back to your view tab, and then you open this floor plan and you say okay. Let's also go back, so it becomes clickable again. So I just want you to keep that in mind. Then I also want to show you the implication of that in the course of your project. Now I'm just going to go to our initial project we had. So here right now I'm going to make another level above this building. So I select my level here. I choose not to make a floor plan for the level I'm about to create. So what I have to do is to come to this place and uncheck make plan view. So I uncheck that and draw it just like that. So I come to my level 1 and double click on my level 1. So I pick a wall, for instance, and make sure the top constraint of the wall is the level 5, and then I select my rectangle, and then I make something like this there. Hit escape a couple of times, and then I return back to my south elevation. Now say for instance I want to create something, maybe just to create a cap at the top of this wall. There is no way I can do that except I start creating it at this level and start calculating the height of the wall and offsetting it to that point, but it's a long process. What I ordinarily have to do is to go to this level and create whatever I want to create. But now I can't do that because there is no level for this. This is just a reference line, okay? And in most cases, if I have a reference line like this, all I will just do is to click out this bubble head and just make it a straight line like that. But let me return back to it and check this, and I have to make this clickable. In other words, create a level for this so that I can be able to go to that level and create whatever I want to create at the top of this wall. So what I'm going to do now is to go to my view, floor plan. At that level 5, I say okay, we have the level there. To display the top of that wall so I can make my modification there, in order to display it, so I come to my property panel, and here I have view range, so I click on here and I turn this to unlimited. Once you hit apply, you will now see it appears there. So this is the top of this block which I created. Whatever modification I'm going to do now will be at the top of that. So here I just want to pick my floor and then check the thickness of the floor. Okay, I have it as 150 millimeters, and then I can also check the height. I am going to leave the height as the same 150 millimeters. So if I select this and create something like that, and I pick offset, let's offset it at 200 millimeters, okay, and I do something like this, then I delete this and I hit finish, attach it to the base of it. Now if I go back to my south elevation, without creating a floor plan for this, there is no way I will be able to do this. So that's the essence of that. But if all I wanted is just a reference line, there is no point creating level for that. So that's the essence of controlling your levels. Now I'd like to go back to this Now let me show you some other tricks involved in creating levels. Now for level elements, if you click any of these, it has this intelligent behavior of all the levels locking themselves up together. That's why when I say you need to make sure it snaps at one end before you take it to the other. If it does not snap at one end, that means that particular level will not align with others and it won't be in lock with others. Now here it makes it so that you can drag this using a drag point. For instance, if you click on this level, at this particular level, you are going to see something that looks like a circle, a small circle, by which you can drag this. Each time you drag it, all of the levels drags along with it. If you come to this place, the same thing, you can drag it and then move it to whichever direction you want. Okay, so that's it for that. Now again, each time you click on one level like this, you're also going to notice that it has this edit type. Here you can do some settings. All right, you can adjust, you have the option to adjust the line width here. All right, so one happen to be the least. All right, you can change the color as well. It's all up to you. And then for the line pattern here, what we have there is center. Now you can change the line pattern. You can turn it into solid line. Let me move this. What we have here is center. You can turn it into solid line. If you hit apply, you're going to notice it has changed. You can turn it into dash dots. Okay, you can turn it into dotted lines, which is quite different from the center we have there. It all depends on which is better for you, but we are going to go back to our center. Now we have the symbol. For our symbol, we have the M level head circle. Now, which we have here, you can choose on both ends. If you hit apply and move this, you notice we have it on both ends. If that's okay by you, and then you can choose on one end just like we have it. Depending on the direction, the side of the end you want it. I don't like it that way, so I prefer it this way. So you can choose all of that. And again, if this is not how you like it, maybe you like to change it into an arrow, maybe what you prefer is a triangle, that you can also convert it to that. And how to do that is just for you to go to insert, you load in families, and then you go to annotations, or rather I have my metric library here. You go annotations. So under annotations, you look for it. So here I have this M level, you have elevation, and also select this. All right, so we have these two selected. You can open it. So you have it here in this project. Now to apply it, all you have to do is to select any of these, go edit, expand this. You're not going to see it there. We have this triangle, maybe this, and then you apply. You're just going to notice it appear there. All right, you can also change it to the other type. Also have this triangle spot. Maybe you prefer this type. So that's how to change that. Now up next, let me show you how to rename the levels. Okay, now say you want to rename them, all you have to do is just to click on this, double click on this, and then you can name this foundation, and then you click somewhere outside and say yes, and then you can repeat the same process for all your this thing. Now another thing, let's say you want to add another level up here. All right, and then you go and select your levels. So when this contextual tab opens up in your modify, you are going to notice we've been using this line. All right, we also have another option here called pick line. So if your option is pick line and you select pick line, you're going to see the offset box comes up here where you are allowed to impute the offset distance. Let me say 600 millimeters. All you just have to do is to come here. Once you hover it around any level at all, you will just see it snaps there, and then once you click on it, you have the line there. You can go multiple times and as much as you want. And then there's another thing I also want to show you, and in case let me leave this as bubble head in order to show that properly. So I'm just gonna go back to this circle, apply, so we have that. So you can now see that I have them all clustered there, and if you're even trying to rename it, you might not be able to see them. So there's also an option to help you, and once you select any of them, you will see something that looks like a zigzag sign here. They say add able. All right, so once you click on it, you've broken the line there. Now what you have to do here is to pick it from this point and then see how you lift it and shift it away from the other one. Then you can do the same here by selecting it. You see that there once you break it. So if you prefer it this way, fine. And then this is also another option on how you can manipulate your level line there. Finally, I like to go back to our project right here, so save. So this is how levels are set, and I like to add that each time you're working on a project and you're setting up levels, and in the course of your project you will always have a reason, a cause to set up one level or the other. All right, but always keep your eyes on your project browser, because as you're setting up level is appearing there on the project browser. And then secondly, each time you select a level, always be sure of what plan you actually want to get out of the level you're setting. If you just want to get just a floor plan out of it, you can just go and do that. All right, otherwise there is no point creating all the plans, so that your project browser won't be too clustered with too many levels. So try to manage your project browser very well. So with this, we've come to the end of this tutorial, and I just hope that this tutorial has helped you in one way or the other. And please consider subscribing to this channel, like this video, share it so that other people can see and benefit from it. Don't forget to leave a comment below the comment section, ask any questions, and we will answer that. Thanks for watching.